of the gather launches, there's a gathering. So this is gathering number 2 of the Israel-Palestine Mediation Circle. But you people are going to tell me about yourself after I've gone through, or you want to do a little introduction and then I can just go through the website and all. Yes, Fatma, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I am Fatma from Cairo, Egypt. Um, okay, I'm just not sure where to focus on the mediation experience or myself as myself. I mean,
Everything, everything, everything. No problem at
very
all.
good. I'll keep it as short as possible. So I was originally a lawyer, so I practiced law for 10 years, and then I moved to the World Bank and I worked on different development projects, including mediation. Then I became an independent consultant, so I do still work in mediation. So either I sit as mediator, I train in mediation. I'm mostly interested in the policy aspect, the capacity building in mediation, which I do in Egypt, several Arab countries, a little bit in Asia, a little bit in Africa. So here and there, as much as I can. And I do other policy reform work. And I'm an advocate on the impact of child sexual abuse on adult women. And also, I try as much as I can to incorporate my artistic inclinations in whatever I do, because I used to do theater back in the day. I do a little bit of painting here and there. I had recently an art exhibition on child sexual abuse, for example. So I try to do everything together as much as possibly can.
So lots of
That's
important
it.
work, but
Mhm.
art and mediation, we've had some conversations in some of my earlier events. So please watch those. There's been
Sure.
arts and the mediation, theater and mediation, poetry and mediation, all that has been discussed. So interesting.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, Roger, please, a little bit about yourself.
Right. I'm Fatma's neighbor. Actually, I'm in Lebanon right now,
Okay.
and I was in Egypt. It means a month ago. Actually, I did studies in conflict resolution, mediation, and peace building. Work in this field and in the educational field at the same time. Um, Definitely quite interested in what we can do to positively impact the region overall. It means been going on since 1948 with absolutely no end in sight. And I was interested to join this conference because we talk a lot about what should be done, but the real players do not talk to each other. It means look at it right now. It means it's a third party, Qatar, that's mediating between the two because they're not talking to each other. And I've always wondered what we outsiders or third party can do to impact positively peace at the end of the day. And peace is, there's negative peace, which means the absence of conflict, but that doesn't mean it's fair or it's equitable or whatever it is. And what we can do to make it fair, equitable, and two neighbors living together, hopefully onwards into the future in a way that they can become together intertwined one way or the other in the region. So that those would be my definitely question and quests. Let's put it that way.
That will take up as we go along. Right now, it's just a little introduction about yourselves because I'll be introducing myself and what I'm doing. So might as well have you coming in first, talking about yourself, because it's a little important to put out what all I do, because people don't find the information. Social media posts are not enough to tell you about what's happening. So in general, mediatorvikram.com is where information is lying. And gathering number 2 is what we're doing of the Israel-Palestine Mediation Circle. So we've had, of course, information about myself, all that is there. So the World Mediation Circle, which is the larger whole, and then mediation circles as part of that. So just a little bit about this whole worldwide web of mediation circles that I'm creating. And then we have what is mediation according to me, the voluntary and informal aspect of it, trusted person. That I'm taking you very fast through this only because I've gone through it a number of times, but I still like to put it out. Mohammed is here. Mohammed's heard me say this so many times. Whenever he comes, this is what I'm doing all the time. But I can't help it, Mohammed. I have to put it out there because I have to tell people where to find information. So important aspect, the moral values, principles, and ethics-based humanistic approach to dispute resolution, where heart, soul, spirituality play an important role. This is the important aspect of the way I look at mediation. Mediation is going to be looked at in various ways by people. And of course, safe spaces for conversation, dialogue, collaboration, and consensus building without activism or advocacy. So that's what I've been trying to say, that that area will exist, all that will happen, but we'll stay away from that. This is about conversations, about dialogue, about consensus building. It's happening in various places. And to join the World Mediation Circle, okay, we have mediators, peacemakers, and participants. That's the categories I've put it out into. People can read about it and fill this form, and please just be part of it if you want to. And then various mediation circles, that whole list is here, which have been launched. And then we have the events that have happened, because there are lots that happens in a year. So all that is about here. So 675 plus videos, lots of information. I don't expect any of you to watch all of them. I've watched all of them because I've been part of all of them. So, but I don't expect you people to do it. But pick up from here whatever you want to watch. So there, all the links are here. This is what's coming. Okay, this is what's coming up. So there's 10th January. We have one book on the talking books. Another one, this Equator Mediation Circle on the 12th. 15th, Ken is going to talk about his book, The Magic in Mediation. 17th, the anniversary celebration of my YouTube channel. Everyone's invited for that. Zoom link will remain the same. So please come in. And then I always like to put, there are lots of events that happen, various, so January, February, everything last year is all here. And I always tell people that Ken Cloak has been very nice to participate in so many events. So please go to that section, which is with all the things that he's participated in. Lots of wisdom out there, lots of words of wisdom from our grand old man of mediation. Everything else, please have a look at. But what I do like to put out is, but Mohammed is here. Mohammed is going to tell us about himself, but I will take 2 minutes after that moment. So please tell everyone about yourself, and then I'll come in. Yeah.
Hi, Vikram. My dear friend Fatma, how are you? Yeah. Thank you for let me talk about myself. My name is Muhammad Hadi. I'm from Jerusalem, from the occupied side of the city, and I worked before in the negotiation office, in the Palestinian negotiation office. I worked for around 4 to 5 years there, but in the period that there was no negotiations, and in the time that was the political position of the Palestinian negotiation is not to negotiate during the continuity of building settlements in the West Bank by the Israeli occupation. And the occupation continued, and with no negotiation, and the settlements are continued. We have now around more than 1 million settlers in the place that the state of Palestine should be built in there. After that, I started with a non-profit organization, East Jerusalem, focused on mediation and alternative dispute resolution. I'm still working there. Happy always to be with Vikram, especially in Palestine-Israel circle. I think today is the 3rd session of the Israel-Palestine, and I should always say that all the respect, Vikram, because what you are doing all the time for the mediation and the peace building in many circles. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Look, the idea is that let's get people together, and then people should then take this forward and create circles, which is what is happening, that further people are creating circles. But I'm going to take you 2 minutes through all the various circles which have been launched or what's coming up. The larger whole, the India Mediation Circle, the World Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle, and the International Reflective Practice Circle, which is going to be reflective practice groups as part of each circle. So we'll create those reflective practice groups for people to come and just discuss whatever their thoughts, whatever their experiences are. Then the International Commercial Mediation Circle, launched on the day Singapore Convention came into force, on the same day. And then Sustainable Development Goals, lots of work here. Then the Refugee Mediation Circle. So each of them will have mediation circles within every country and down to the local level. So there will be Egypt Organizational Mediation Circle, which Fatma, you have to work on that. So similarly, in each of those, so family mediation circle, every family to have a mediation circle. There was Francis Bell from Barbados. We launched that circle, and then his niece came in, and then we said we'd launch an Uncle Francis mediation circle. So that has to happen sometime in January. So every family should have one. And this is the game that Massimiliano has developed called Medianos for people to experience conflict resolution. Then the global school and college mediation circles, then the environmental, climate change, natural disaster, sustainability. Again, right to the local level, national, local, we have to create those circles. Then this is what Ken launched on the 7th of November. Then Barbados, what I was saying, Francis Bell. And this is a college in India which has launched the circle, which they've called Sulh Circle, not mediation, which is what I've been saying. You use the word that you are most comfortable with, what people connect with. And then the artificial intelligence, lots of work to happen here. And this is what we did on the first gathering. Then we are going to get together and the Turkey Mediation Circle. Then this is the gathering we're doing today. What's coming up is Talking Books, which is for a series of mine because some of us don't read them, and I'm included in that. So Massimiliano has written this book, and I wrote the preface for this book. And he's doing excellent work in relation to taking this Medianos to people. And so he's spoken about that and that. So then we have the Ecuador Mediation Circle on the 12th of January. And then we have this Talking Books with Ken on 15th of January. And everyone invited for the anniversary celebration of the YouTube channel. So that's about it. And Ramsey is here. Ramsey, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go forward.
Thank you, Mediator Vikram. It's very good to be with you today. Sorry for the delay in joining. I got confused between the link for the YouTube access and the Zoom access. So I apologize. And of course, it will not happen again. I have the benefit of this experience.
Oh, sure.
My own background is rather curious, I think, because I came into this field, perhaps ironically, from the starting point of language. So I started my journey as an interpreter between English and Arabic. Many years in a freelance capacity and then joining the International Committee of the Red Cross. And I realized quite early that the main barrier to communication was not language in the sense of English, Arabic, French, whatever, but rather the other meaning I have for language, which is a set of principles, values, perspectives, priorities, which really influence the way that the different parties look at the world. And I found that the two parties, even with the best linguistic competence, were talking past each other and were expressing each other in a way which was not consistent with their own image. And so I realized, okay, where I'm needed really is not so much just as an interpreter, which was my main focus, but really as a communication bridge, as a facilitator, as a mediator, effectively. And that was the beginning of a long and interesting journey. And that has become now my area of specialization of facilitating negotiation, which is another way I would suggest with respect to people here of being a mediator, but a slightly different, almost a maverick mediator in a way, because normally a mediator is not supposed to be a party of the discussions. Whereas in my case, I do. I help both sides saying, okay, really, you are in this situation in terms of trust or lack of trust or perspective or perception. And if you present your points in the wrong order or in the wrong way, you're going to make a bad situation worse. And it's, that becomes a surprise. And I say the same kind of thing to both sides. So it's not like I'm taking one side or the other. I like the expression that I came across in your previous presentation, Vikram, of not neutral, but omni-biased.
Omnipartiality, yes, we call it.
Or omnipartial. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Sorry, I took too long. I often do give long answers to short questions. I'll try to give a lot to make up for it. I'll try to give short answers to long questions in the future.
But what we don't want is a short name here. We should have your entire name out there. It's just Ramsey. And I mean, of course, you put Brussels there. And Roger, if we need a country or something up there for you also. So at least we know where you're coming from.
Yeah, sure. So if I did that, then I would take up too much space, because giving a country is automatically a lie in a way. I would cause confusion. I am physically living geographically in Brussels, in Belgium, but mentally, and this is the reality, mentally I am in Egypt, I am in Syria, I'm in Lebanon, I am in Kiev, I'm in Kabul, where are the main areas with which I'm interacting.
Look,
So
what I've been doing is I've been telling people that if you have an origin somewhere, write it there. You live somewhere, write it there. Any other place you connect to, write it there. Doesn't matter. It's a
okay,
point of view that you're bringing from wherever you are. That
absolutely,
doesn't matter.
you're right. Well,
Yeah.
there you
Please,
have
if
the
you want, you can add everything there. I think we have enough space to have lots of these things. But look,
sure.
the idea behind this gathering of every of these circles is that we are not here to say that this is the solution. What I've been trying to do, and last time also I did discuss, was what are the various points of view out there. At least let's put it out there. Then for each of those points of view, let's bring the right people, or some people, right or wrong, I can't say, but gets people to whatever their experiences are or their thought is. Let's bring that in. So that is for me the purpose of the circle. And then as we go along, let's see how the discussions go, how people
Sure.
can
And so
maybe.
today's focus is indeed on Israel-Palestine, as
But
I understand.
in relation to that dispute, what are the various points of view and where do we start? So let me say, let's start with history, and someone can throw light on what is the historical aspect of it. And then whom else do we have to bring in? Do we have to bring historians in? Do we have to bring sociologists in? Who all are we want to, who do we have to
Okay.
bring to? Because I've been always been saying, look, mediation is not about all of us as mediators being experts in the subject. Let's bring them in, but whom do we have to bring in also? So where do we start, Fatima? What is, wait, let's talk historical. Is there something on history that we have to bring in? What are your thoughts on that part?
Okay, I mean, history is important because this, I mean, it's important and not important at the same time. It's important in the sense of, in my opinion, people want to be heard. So I think it's important to look at history as sort of storytelling. Like each person, I think if you bring all Palestinians, all Arabs, and you segment them, you would hear different stories. I mean, maybe the common thread would be one party is the victim and the other party is the perpetrator, but you have different stories. So I would say history is important in the sense of, I see certain claims that Palestine never existed historically, for example. I think this is an important point, and to hear the counterpoint as well. So even if I have a bias to, yeah, Palestine did exist, it's important to also hear the other point. Let historians talk and also people talk. I mean, I would not imagine myself a Palestinian and people telling me your country never existed. So I think I need to be heard as a human being as well. So there is that historical. I mean, I would say the history is happening. I mean, anything that happened yesterday is history in a way. So I would look at history from that perspective.
But anything specific in relation to history that you want to just put out there?
I would say the origin of the conflict. I mean, it's interesting because you hear the two sides, you look at the two sides, and you see two different stories, like different realities. I think it would be interesting to get into that, the origins.
Yeah, for someone, I mean, in that, if we get the right people in. I mean, in this, like I said, there is no right or wrong because everyone will come with their perspective, and how much of it comes from vested interests, how much of it comes from knowledge on the subject. We don't know. We'll see as we go along. The idea is to hear everything out. So that's something. So who are we getting, Fatma? Do we know anyone who can throw light on this aspect?
I wouldn't. I mean, he's not a historian, but I like his points of view. Gabor Mate. He's a psychologist, actually.
Yeah. So what I was thinking was that because Gabor Mate has obviously said so much, there is so much content on YouTube in relation to what he said. So the only thing is that in these YouTube live videos, I can't play any of those videos because that is all copyright material. But what we can do is let's make a list out of all the links. So like you said, Gabor Mate, let's put a whole list. What I'll do is I'll make a Google document and I'll share it with all of you. And you people can all add links to it because I had taken out a lot of links. I mean, there are lots of them, but I don't want to play any of that here. That's that little limitation that I have on the YouTube part. Separately, if we do something which is not live, definitely we can play it at that time. But at least let's put all the links out and then we can circulate that document. That okay, on the historical part of it, you can, but someone has to help me on this. All of you have to help me on this. So on this aspect, this is one point of view, which seems a reasonable point of view. Let's put it down. oh, this seems to be an unreasonable point of view, but still should be heard. Everything should be heard. Reasonable, unreasonable, but sifting through whether it is doctored, someone's doctored video is being put out there or not, how much of little bit of thing, something that we also have to just, however we are going to do it, because today with deep fakes and everything, all kinds of videos are going out there. So we don't know, but at least from our side, let's try and see whether we can see will this looks like a genuine video, because there are lots of videos which I have seen which are interesting, but I don't want to say. Yes, Roger, please. Oh, Roger, before you come in, can we just say hi to Atman? Atman is in Morocco, and Atman, you can speak in Arabic. We have people who can translate from Arabic also.
Yes, thank you everyone. I know Mr. Mohammed Hadi. التقينا في في منصة أكت. إذن شكرا للجميع، تحية للأخت والإخوان. معكم عثمان عوي، رئيس جمعية الارتقاء بالوساطة في المغرب. شكرا لكم.
Someone going to translate that? All I can say is Atman is Salam Alaikum, and someone after that, whatever you said, I hope you said some nice things. Yes.
I told that I am president of Association of Promotion and Mediation in Morocco. Only it's my the presentation.
Because I tell you what, Atman participated in my first symposium, which was in 2021, which was on mediation in our culture and traditions. And there were some 97 speakers from 45 countries in that. And someone from Mexico called it the Woodstock of mediation. And he made a poster also, which is on my website. It was very nicely done from the original poster of Woodstock. So that's what Atman was part of. And he speaks English properly, but he had made me bring in a French translator for that. But he can speak very well.
Yes, I am comfortable with Arabic and French, but for me, English is.
Look, he's speaking properly. He's speaking very comfortably in English, and then he says, "I'm not comfortable." Okay. So let's get Dennis in. Also, Dennis, hi.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, we have to put a country in front of your name, Dennis. What do I put? USA? Can I put you? Should I put USA? Anything else you connect to? Because Ramsey was saying that he connects and feels a part of a lot of countries. So there's maybe not enough space for all of them here. So he's written, of course, not the country, but Brussels. But if there's anything else that you connect with in any way, you can always put it down there. And how we started off was, which is what the whole idea is, that what are the various points of view that are out there? So we're trying to put that down. And then on each of those point of views, have you got some link or something that you have heard? If you have not got the person directly, do we have something that you have, I mean, in some way listened to, or even an article or something that you feel should be heard? Because we might not be able to get everyone on all of those points of view. We would want to, we'll keep trying, but if we can't, so we get those links, put it on a Google document, and all of us keep adding to that on each of those points of view. Watch those links, see what comes out of that. And then if we can bring in some people who want to share their views, we'll bring those people in. So that's how the whole thing will grow. But of course, this is what we are doing as part of the gatherings, but every one of us has to also create circles at the grassroots level, because this discussion also has to happen in schools, colleges, the reasonable conversations, which I have created these circles for, a safe space for conversations, dialogue, consensus building. So all of you have to work to create those circles also in your community. So there's a larger World Mediation Circle, then each country will have one. Then the Israel-Palestine Circle, Mediation Circle can be created in a school also, so that they can have a conversation and all these points of view, they can pick it up and discuss that. So that's what the broad thing right now is. So yes, Roger, sorry, please.
No, it's okay. I definitely think it's a great idea to create maybe a timeline, like Fatma was saying, a historical timeline that gives facts, not sides, because everybody has their own side one way or the other. There are definitely facts that people could refer to, and we can go back as far as 1916, actually, with the Sykes-Picot Agreement, and then the 1917 with the Balfour Agreement, and then the first United Nations Resolution 181, and then 242, and stuff like that. So it's important that if we can have a timeline for people to know, because people have absolutely no idea. And as we know, it means history is always written by the winner, not by anyone else. For example, we can easily tell that whether it is Israeli youth or Palestinian youth, they don't know what facts are. They know exactly what they're being told in school or what they're being told in their communities. So it might be an eye-opener to educate all these people by finding a way to tell them what facts are, what history is, not what they're being told, but what the actual history is. So I definitely second the motion of creating something like that maybe, Vikram, you can post on your website, that we can all contribute to, adding facts to it that could be like United Nations Resolution 181 is a fact. It's with the United Nations, or 242 or whatever it is, and not things that people think they are and or they totally deny that it happened, like the Nakba in Palestine or whatever it is. So I think it's a great idea to do that.
Yeah, because also I think what I wanted to do was bring in people who are actually experienced it. Because last time what happened was there was Abe Kodan. He's Palestinian who now lives in Australia, but his family actually had to move out or whatever. I don't want to say thrown out, whatever words he will use, in 1948. So, and he was born in a refugee camp in Jordan. So we have a person who's actually lived the conflict. So his experiences have been recorded in my show Evolution of a Mediator, Journey of Abe Kodan. So you can watch that, and at least he's shared some of his own experiences there. But people like that, let's get actual people who have experienced it. Let's hear from them. And like you said, the resolutions, there's a whole list of them, which is easy. I mean, this is out facts. So all UN resolutions, we can always put all of them down in that document and links to each of them so people can read that. And history part of it, as we'll keep adding to whatever people's thoughts on that are. So yes, that's what we have to do. Yes, Ramsey, please.
I would like to add a note of support to what's just been said. And if I may suggest, we add a small piece of detail to specify what each particular piece of information imposes in terms of legal obligations on whom. So, for example, the Sykes-Picot Agreement is not a legally binding obligation on the state of Israel, for example. Likewise, many people talk about the Balfour Declaration. Well, no one is obligated by the Balfour Declaration. It doesn't give any legal title or responsibility. So, whereas resolutions from the United Nations Security Council specifically have the full weight and consequence of international legal obligation, whereas resolutions from the General Assembly are a representation of the opinion of the international community, but they're not legally binding. So I think those small distinctions, I think, are relevant so that people can say, okay, Israel is a state, a member state of the United Nations, that's a fact, and therefore is obligated by the resolutions of the UN Security Council. That's a fact.
What we'll also discuss is that whether the UN actually is a body which is something which has teeth, first of all, and how it works and what is the constitution of that. Do we need a new world order? Because we're here in our discussions, we're not bound by anything that is there, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We can discuss that. And if something else has to be created, what that structure has to be, because I mean, when I've also spoken about it earlier, that UN Security Council permanent members, just look at them and say, do they even represent the world? I mean, India not represented in it, 1.4 billion people. No one from the Southern Hemisphere. I mean, can you imagine? No country from the Southern Hemisphere even represented in that. So maybe it was made in a certain period. Maybe it has its purpose. I'm sure. I don't know whether it does or not. We'll discuss that. So let's also, when we talk about a specific aspect, like take the larger thing also, that what is the structure, the United Nations, let's discuss that, and whether that by itself is something that we need or that has to be changed and what needs to be done there. Open conversation on that. Then we, of course, resolutions and Security Council binding, what all that we will also discuss. But let's go with an open mind. We are not bound by anything that's happening.
No, I
Because
didn't say we are bound. What I'm trying to say, Vikram, if you permit me just briefly, I'm sorry if I take too much time, is that if, and I'm not saying we are, but if we take the view that the United Nations, because the composition of the Security Council does not have much legitimacy, it only applies its decisions in a selective way and allows other violations to go unpunished, which are completely true. If we do that in a way which then further weakens any status or recognition of that half-broken body, then it is the best news possible for the violators of international law. So we are actually, in some ways, by taking a perfectly reasonable view, we are actually helping, ironically, the interests of the violators of international law, because we are reducing further the credibility or respect or status or whatever of statements of international law. The problem is not international law. The problem is simply the lack of application of it.
Exactly.
We need to maintain that distinction, maintain the primacy of international law, rather than saying it's only selectively applied, it doesn't represent international opinion, so forget it and let's find something else.
Exactly. So I mean, each of those aspects we'll definitely discuss. Yeah. But Roger, was there anything else that you were saying? Can I move to Mohammed? Yes, Mohammed. Please, Mohammed. Your thoughts onto the larger picture, what all we need to discuss, different points of view, what we need to put out there.
To be honest, Vikram, I'm always thinking that why Israelis are not interested in this circle.
They might have some look. The problem is that countries go about telling people not to talk about things. I tell you, that's the first symposium. There were some people from Tunisia who were supposed to participate, and then they saw the poster where the person from Tunisia and the person from Israel were on the same poster. They said, we won't participate in this. And I asked them, why? You are mediators, why should you not? But I understood that they were lawyers and their bar would actually debar them if they participated. So there's so many pressures on people, so I can't say why they're not participating. So we won't get into that. We'll try to see if they can't come on live shows, then we'll get them separately. We'll definitely get them separately.
You know what I'm trying to think that it's important when we are talking about the Palestine-Israel circle to hear more what Israeli mediators think about this conflict, about the work from background as mediators, not as political people, as mediators, because I was from the beginning of the war trying to hear what Israeli mediators are talking about during this war, or what the role that maybe they think that they can do. Anyways, I'm not sure that talking about the facts is important in these days, because the facts is facts. It's starting from 1917 to 1947, the 181 Assembly General Resolution, passing to 242 1967, till today. We have hundreds of international resolutions from the UN, from the Human Rights Council, from everywhere. It's very clear. It's very clear. I think that the other side don't care about all of this. Maybe we should remember what the الأمين العام للأمم المتحدة said
Secretary General. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Ramsey. What he said in his speech about the war in Gaza, and the response was after minutes from the representative of Israel in the General Assembly. He said, maybe you are not living in this world. Seems that the other side don't see the international law, the human rights, the history, the facts. He just see himself as the power side that using all this power against everything, and anybody can talk against. You don't care. What I can see now that they don't care. The number of people who are killed in Gaza, it's more than 20,000, from children, from women, from doesn't matter. For them, doesn't matter. Till now, I'm trying to think why they are continuing.
What we have to do is that, but this other side and them, we'll have to change that, because look, them is the larger. Look, we're not going to say that the entire country or all Jews or anyone. There's no such category. So we'll just say that, okay, they're politicians. Let's talk about them. They don't care. Because I would not say the other side as in all the people there. We won't do that, because there are all kinds of people with all kinds of views on this. They're helpless
because
themselves.
Of that, Vikram, I'm really need somebody to talk about from their side. What do they think about what is going on?
They're all on our side. They're all on our side. First of all, they're all on our side. It's just that there are people who control things in each country. So we'll talk about them as the other side. Let's talk about them. But all our friends from Israel, our mediators and all, we'll get them in. Slowly, we'll get them in. But we won't. Right now, we won't say the other side in that sense. On the larger picture of the country as such, or people there, only some people who have their vested interests in whatever way. So them. Is that okay, Mohammed? Can we do that? Let's not brand all of them on the other side as whatever, because otherwise the whole process will just continue. But also, these conversations have to happen at the grassroots level. That's why we're trying to say that whatever globally, whatever people are saying, but at the grassroots level, what conversations are happening, Mohammed? So what is happening at the grassroots level? What are people in communities talking about in East Jerusalem?
The same thing that I mentioned, Vikram. People are not, both sides are not talking to each other. The gap is more and more and more. A lot of people that they are believing in peace building, in peace, they believe that they are peacemakers. Really, they are trying to find somebody to talk to. They don't find.
But what pressures do they have? I mean, they're under pressure to do that. Have they been told not to speak to anyone? Is that how it is? What is really happening with them? Do we have? I mean, I'm sure someone must have told you what's happening with them. Why are they not talking about it?
I don't know. But I know that the gap is very big. I know that we can face a lot of discrimination. When I pass from city to another city, I should stay on the checkpoint for 5 hours, 6 hours, instead of passing through during 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They are putting people in more and more and more pressure. And we are looking really to hear some voices from people that they believe in people, in peace, in dignity for us as people. So let's hear from Fatma.
Yes, Fatma.
Very good, thank you. So actually, I have two questions. Not really two questions. The first is a comment, and then the second is a question. In terms of a comment, so I stopped. I mean, I still do it from time to time, but I check different posts on Facebook, on Instagram, and I don't like to say the other because I don't want to. I mean, but there is always an other. But there is an other side which isn't limited to Israel. It's in different countries for many reasons. It's not to point fingers or whatever, but there is a very big gap in the understanding, and there is a lot of dehumanization happening on the two sides. So I think there is a very big gap that requires some dialogue. So there is that point that I see, and I also see in other circles. Like, for example, I am also in a spiritual group where there are talks about it, and I spoke to and I mean, I cannot hold him accountable for everyone, and not the spokesperson, but also an Israeli individual who left Israel because he wanted to uphold that, not wanting to fight and wanting to make peace, but then he's being seen as a traitor. So there are people with him, there are people against him. So within the same country, there are different ways of living, and let's agree that we are all correct in our approach, even if we disagree with them, because if we want to advance, we have to accept. But this is one. The second is, I'm not sure exactly what do we aim in, what's the objective? I mean, are we brokering dialogue through pointing to certain points, or what do we want to do? Because, for example, there are many pages on Instagram and Facebook that put the history. Some might be right, some might be wrong. I'm not a historian. Honestly, I'm not interested even in history myself. So who's going to fact check from our side? Are we creating work for us, or what do we want to do after this circle? That would be, I mean, I'm apologies for not having attended the first two ones, and I wouldn't want to take
even the first two ones, if you had attended, you would still not get the answer to this. I'll try and answer it. I'll try and answer this. But look, the thing is, everything is a work in progress with me. So this is also work in progress. But the idea is that, first of all, let's discuss and at least put out there what are the various points of view. I'm repeating that each of those, just have a conversation on, because we have too many vested interests in this world. So truth by itself, we don't know what it is most of the time. People don't. First of all, people also, because what media they listen to gives them certain aspect of what it is. So here, what I have, the advantage is I'm neither funded by anyone. No one funds me at all, and I'm not dependent on anyone. So I can put out this. I can create a space where everything can be discussed without any issue. So let's let people at least have an opportunity to at least hear things which they might otherwise not hear. And one is, if we don't have people who can talk about it specifically with their own experiences, then we will, of course, connect to various links to media or whatever, but we would have gone through, and what you thought was reasonable, putting those out. So that's why that list to be created. It's not going to be circulated up till each of us haven't, I mean, at least some of us haven't gone through it, because if you've gone through it and said, no, this doesn't seem all right, or whatever, we can discuss that. But at least let's put that out, all the points of view. So everyone, like I said, the 1948 situation itself, what is it that people know about? Do they don't know about it? And then what is that people with their experiences can talk about? Which is why I gave the example of Abe. I have a person who himself has lived through it, so he gives his own thing. But there is a video which goes around of the people who actually massacred people in 1948. So they were talking about what they did. So that's there. Now, whether it's doctored, whether it is true, when I'm no one to, we might not be able to find out. No one is very difficult, but at least there's a point of view available there that could have happened, which people might be blind to certain aspects. So let's bring that out. So that, but what is the larger aim? The larger aim is that of all these circles is that at the grassroots level, when you're creating these circles and these conversations happen there, and people understand the larger picture, the concept of the mediation circles was that once they can build a safe space like that, they can identify their mediators in their communities, people who have that mindset. And then as we go along, mediators as leaders. That is what the aim is, that we can have people with that mindset who can then lead and then can bring people together. So that's a larger objective, which is not, look, this nothing that I'm doing is a short-term aspect. And it is all long-term. Short-term, if these conversations or anything can in some way give someone any direction, I'm very happy with that happens. But that's not the aim, because there is lots happening on the global level. But when I see helpless people like the Secretary General of the United Nations himself, to see that there is the politics here is at a different level. And most importantly, everyone has a vested interest. If someone is supplying arms to a country, and then you ask that country to say that you have a veto right and you can veto something, I think in any kind of, be it in any situation, vested interest should not be voting on anything. They should be out of it. So how many people have those vested interests? Are they part of that decision making? So lots of things happen there. Discussions will happen on the global level. So there's a lot of helplessness there. And that is why I said the United Nations itself, that structure that we have by itself needs to be discussed. Is there an alternative coming up? So like we have the G20, which is coming up. Is that a better alternative? Is it an alternative? How it has to work? International law itself. So lots of conversations there. Yes, Ramsey, please.
So to try and give shorter answers to the longer questions this time. So first, very short answer would be JVJP, just 4 letters, which I think stands for Jewish Voices for Justice to Palestinians. They might be able to contribute a participant to this kind of discussion.
Are you in touch with anyone there, Ramsey?
They have a website. I'm sure they would respond favorably to a request from you. That makes sense.
Mohammed, have you connected with anyone from there?
Me?
Have you connected with anyone from JP?
I'm trying to find somebody.
Okay, perfect.
But if Ramsey, know anyone of them,
no, what he's saying is that the website is there. You can just reach out and they will want to participate in the conversation. So we'll send out an email, also general one. But the
second thing I would say, because as you can imagine, because of my interest in the topic, I am participating in as many forums as I can find that are not time wasting. Yeah. And the impression I get is that within Israeli society, the atmosphere is so highly charged that no one dares open their mouth because they would simply be then attacked, either verbally or in some cases physically, and accused indeed of being traitors and so on and so forth. Last but not least is that if we talk about mediation, then it suggests that it's somehow personal between two groups of people. And therefore you're trying to mediate and bring the two sides to find some kind of understanding that is workable. That is not the situation, I believe, in this case. To answer or to provide a response to what Muhammad asked of how they can carry on killing, reaching 20,000 plus, in some ways, one answer could be because they can. That is a very brutal, disgusting, sick response. It is not my personal view, but that is part of it. They can get away with it. And so when I say they, I am not making a blanket statement against all Israelis or all Jews. I'm talking about specifically the ones who are dropping the bombs and firing the rockets and pulling the triggers on the guns, and those who are directing them, the actual effective actors on the ground.
So important thing that comes out from that is that the ones who actually pull the trigger, can we get some of those people? Because there, of course, all the Israeli mediators themselves might have been part because they have to, participate in these activities. So why they do it? What is the mindset that is created with them? So let's get that. The guy who flies the aircraft and actually drops
I think it would be unlikely that you would get the person flying the aircraft and dropping the bomb, because then he would either be shot or something worse.
We don't have to get them in the YouTube one. We can get them separately. But let's understand their mindset.
But what is also, I think, valid to look at is providing political cover for it, providing protection for Israel in the UN through the veto. That is coming at an increasingly heavy cost for the US and the UK. Now, you might be able to get someone from the US or the UK to take part in the discussion, because in the last voting on the ceasefire, which was vetoed by the US, an abstention by the UK, all other 13 members in favor, it really exposed how isolated the US and the UK are from the rest of international opinion. And so I think it could be worthwhile to try to get someone from the US or the UK to take part in these discussions.
Yeah. And the important thing, like I said, is that in the long term, if we can actually bring mediators as leaders and they reach that situation, that position, then things might change there. But right now, to talk about at that level what's happening, and first of all, who pulls the strings with each of them also? I mean, you've got a large arms industry out there, which is huge. So whether these politicians themselves can actually take decisions, but lots on that side, definitely. So this side, at least, between the people, so them, like you clearly said, so them is, and they has to be first of all put out there as these are specific people that you're talking about in this whole country out there, so many people in the country. And first of all, is it about only Israelis and Palestinians? Isn't the world all connected together and each gets affected by everything that happens? Egypt gets affected by what's happening there. So it's all of us. It's all of us. I don't want to even put it down to them. That them is all of us who are in some way connected. I think we should look at it, but we haven't got Denise in yet. Yes, Denise, your thoughts?
Thank you. Hello. I'm enjoying listening to everybody so much. Thank you. I think as mediators, we have a responsibility to inch closer every conversation to finding some common ground. And we have two aspects here. We have facts and we have emotion. And they're two sides of the coin, and they play very heavily on each other. Finding facts that we can agree on is not an easy task because some of these laws were created under duress. They're not clear. They seem sometimes unfair, and there's pushback. So just to say, oh, these are the facts, we can all agree on that, that's an oversimplification, and we are certainly not there today. So to start in a very narrow place, we have a region, and we have two claims to the region. So right there, we have a huge problem. And we're not going to look at UN resolution, and we're not going to look at history to find the answers. Can we use some legal code? Can we use some precedent to uncover some meaning? Possibly. Is that something that our group can address? Absolutely. I'm not afraid to go into fact. Let's go to some fact finding. Let's have a working Google Doc, and let's continue to add to it. And maybe from that, something can get highlighted and there could be some spark of common ground. Secondly, just as important is the emotion. I heard Mohammed talking about the Israelis. Mohammed, what would you like the Israelis? You had talked about your situation and your perspective. Without mind reading, what would you like the Israelis to be discussing? So to use really, we use these simple techniques in mediation, use I statements rather than mind reading. I would like the Israelis to be saying this, or I would like the Israelis to be thinking this. It's a very important piece of finding that common ground. So I think they both feed into each other. And what could we be doing? I think just role playing and just like testing out the waters. My family lives in Israel. I'm Jewish. I have a stake in the land, and it's horrible what's happening. I don't want war. I want peace. On the other hand, we talked about children being educated with a certain platform. How are we going to stop that? How are we going to stop children from being taught to hate? And that's where mind is. That's where my mind is right now. The war is going to play out. There's very little that we can do about it. But what are we going to do about the next phase? People living in peace. The war is not going to, I don't believe that it's going to happen forever. There's too much death already. Tomorrow it's going to stop. Then what? How can we play a role in that conversation for living in peace? And this is a model for around the world. How many regions around the world are living under similar conditions? So what can we do as mediators to move the needle just a little bit so we can get to a better place of understanding? I think in this group, nobody wants war. We've been hijacked, all of us, to be thinking that the war will solve solutions. It will not. So what can we do just with our conversation and with the tools that we know that do work? Finding common ground, understanding our place in the conflict, our accountability, and what are we going to do to bring about peace, lasting peace in this world?
So Denise, you have to tell us, what are we going to do?
I think we need to start with clearing up some misinformation. I think that's a good place to start because the emotion is more challenging. I think we need to talk, like Roger said, let's introduce some facts and let's see what facts we can digest and what facts we can agree with, and let's set some kind of a code. Our mediator circle agree with these facts. We're willing to move forward with this precedent. That's what I would suggest.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But Mohammed, do you want to answer what Denise said? What do you want the Israelis to say? And the Israeli mediators?
I just want to say thank you to them. That's what I'm looking for. And to talk to each other, to hear each other, to find together a mutual ground, to start building on it, to talk about peace, and to talk about feelings, talk about fears. And I'm saying that, Dennis, because all the time we were together talking on all these issues, but I'm a little bit upset because they disappeared from the first day of the war. I'm saying that because I feel that alone we can't work like we are together, Palestinians and Israelis who believe in peace. That's what I want from them, to be here to talk about that. But thank you again, Dennis. This is what I want.
Let's bring them back. Let's bring them back. Let's reassure them that this is a safe space of communication and trust building, and starting with a clean slate next time. All we can do is ask. We're not this, these are voluntary circles. I would be happy to reach out if you have names of colleagues that you've worked with in the past. I would be happy to reach out. You're smiling.
Yes, I'm smiling because I want to tell you something. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody, Vikram.
Yeah, this is the right time to do it. When you're on YouTube is the right time to give all the I won't tell anyone. They'll get to know themselves.
The only one that we still talking together, he's one of my close friends, and he's a Rav, and he is a professional mediator. We still talking together every day. If I stop talking to him or calling, he called me, and the same. And we are doing a lot of things together to keep this way and road open. But let me tell you something. Him and others from his side believe that they should do it now in very low profile, because their voice is very weak in Israel.
Here's the disadvantage to that and the benefit of coming to these circles. Once we agree, even if some small idea, then we have an obligation to stand behind that idea in our communities and our circles. For example, if we agree that X is the way it should be, then we have to be vocal about that. We can't be afraid, and we can't shy away from that truth that we've acknowledged, because that's our building block. So we have to get groups in, we have to get individuals in, and we have to make that a top priority, because that's our power. Our power is saying, hey, we have a group of we have a mediator circle of 10 plus individuals from around the world, and We're committed to this process, and we have all agreed that this is a fact and this is a building block. And we try to influence others. That's all we could do.
Yes, Dennis, I totally agree. And I agree that we have, in our talks, agreed also on the facts. It's not the good way that to ignore the facts and dealing with the issues from the power perspective. We can't do any progress with that. We can't. And I believe, and I know that in my talks a lot with a lot of Israeli mediators, negotiators also, that in a way or another, we should start building for the future and not stay in the past.
Yes.
We agreed together in the middle of the 90s of the last century on a bad agreement, but it's still agreement. So we agreed on something. But now this agreement said that the negotiations during Oslo Accord is based on the UN resolution 242 and 338. But what we faced after Oslo, the number, Dennis, the number of the settlers in the West Bank in the day we signed Oslo Accords in 1993 was around 230,000 settlers in the West Bank, included East Jerusalem. Today, the number is more than 1 million. The Israeli side didn't stop building settlements and bring settlers. This is something that Palestinian Israelis stopped negotiating about all this stuff, about all this issue. But in one step, we should stop and start talking about it. Also,
and what we could say about the settlers, what we could say as a group is, and it became a fact amongst the members of our group that the increase of settlers in that contested area was problematic. That's I think that would be a fair statement to address it, right? Because maybe we could all agree on that. And I just want to note, one extra challenge is that we have to be very culturally sensitive to the religious dynamic of these two opposing sides. It has to be addressed. These are, it almost feels like a religious fundamental war. And there has to be some cultural understanding that that's playing out.
Sure.
It makes it increasingly challenging because we want to talk about facts, and it's hard to find facts when you have a religious war. It's not factually based. It's the spiritual component that, live and die by. So we have to be extra sensitive to that.
Yeah, but I think that is the important thing is that to even say that in terms of the religious aspect of it, whether the one particular religion, everyone agrees on the same point of view as to what needs to be done. I think that itself that is debatable. So get every point of view within the religion itself also. So it's not us up against them kind of thing. We have to move away from that. It is
I agree.
Yeah. So
move away from that because it fuels the war. We could all agree that this is a religion this is a region that's based in religious history. We could agree on that. There's beauty to that. It doesn't have to be a negative.
But the idea is that we are not actually agreeing to anything because we are in that sense bringing those thoughts in. So whether we can we brought this thought in. Yes, we brought this thought in that someone feels that this and then someone feels that. And let's have that, like I said, it could be the individuals or in some way a recording of something. This is all the material that we've been able to collect. And in that, is there something that you want to add, or is there something you disagree with? Please put your point of view, because I want to reach that stage which these conversations. YouTube is one of those that media that you can watch from anywhere in the world, and as many people can watch it. So I would want people to then go reach out to people to actually, they can comment on it, they can send links on the chat or whatever. So it's a large gathering. So the gathering is not limited to what we are here. A large gathering happening. That's the thought. Let's see how we move towards it. So because what happens largely, what I see is that discussions happen, and then people put out solutions, and obviously no one's picking up your solutions. they have other things in their mind, lots of, like, it's a vested interest, so they're not picking up your solution. So if you're putting the thoughts together, and then instead of pushing them up for solutions, putting it down for discussion, so right at that community level, that larger conversation can happen. But within those people, some of them will not be able to even do anything about it, even if they agree with something, because there are lots of factors which control them also. People fear for their life, first of all. I mean, will they do things? Will they have discussions within their communities also when they fear for their life? So how can we reach those discussions to people where at least the thought goes in? And politics can always change, people change, everything can happen, but push from the ground upwards is how I'm looking at it. But
may I say one thing? May I add one thing? Just maybe next time, just as a role play, as an exercise, it would be interesting to hear people just taking the role of accountability. Like if I were to say, I recognize that within my religion or within my mindset or my philosophical views, it makes it challenging for the other two, something like that. And just to get used to talking that way, because I feel like, we all have some accountability, and to put the responsibility on the self. Here's what I am doing that might be fueling this conflict, and here's what I'm willing to say or do differently. I mean, when I have my mediations, we always try to add that in. It's next level, but it's very effective just for that role play.
Yeah. We do that, yeah, definitely. But let's get Atman in also. Atman, your thoughts in English or Arabic, whatever you want to say. Yes, Atman?
Yes, Vikram.
In English,
أنا
Arabic,
سأتحدث
yeah.
French or Arabic?
Arabic. Yes, you sound better in Arabic. Your thoughts come out better in Arabic.
سأتحدث باللغة العربية. مرحبا. أولا أتفق مع الأخ محمد على مداخلته القيمة، يعني فيما شرحه حول الطرف الآخر. نريد أن نستمع إلى الطرف الآخر في هذه القضية الفلسطينية الإسرائيلية التي عمرت الزمن طويل. أصبحنا لا نثق في أي شيء، لا نثق في القرارات، لا نثق في المؤسسات التي تسير العالم الآن. أصبحنا نتحدث عن القطبية الوحيدة والاتجاه الوحيد، وكل يشتغل في ضمان حياة شعب دون شعب آخر، رغم أننا كوسطاء لسنا محايدين في هذه القضية. نكون واقعيين، لسنا محايدين، ويصعب أن نتحدث كوسطاء في هذه القضية. لكن أن نناقش وأن نفتح حوار مجتمعي يشارك فيه الجميع حول هكذا قضية يمكن أن يساعد على إيجاد الحلول، وأن نصل إلى العيش المشترك، وأن يقبل كل طرف بالطرف الآخر، مع التسريع بإيقاف الحرب، لأن القوى غير متوازنة، وتحركت أساطيل العالم في اتجاه مجموعة بشرية صغيرة، يعني أن القوى غير متكافئة، ويجب فتح حوار.
Mohammed, can you put a little bit of translation as we're going along so that
وحيد
Uh,
ولكن
Ramzi,
من
better than me. What do you think, Ramzi?
Ramzi, if you want to just
Sorry to interrupt. Vikram, I sent you a translation now, but I cannot send it to everybody. I just typed out what Atman was saying in English. So if you can share it with the
I
group
agree
somehow.
with Mohammed
Yeah,
regarding what he said regarding the other party. We want to hear the other party in this issue that has lasted for a long time. There is loss of confidence in institutions and decrees. We all feel there is one direction and guaranteeing protecting one entity at the expense of the other. As mediators, we are not impartial and it is difficult to discuss with neutrality. Maybe opening a dialogue would help in finding solutions and a common ground between the two parties. It is important to stop the war ASAP because there is no power balance between the entities. You managed to type all this out while he was saying, wow, how did you do that? Amazing. Okay. But
Vikram, you are saying that because you don't know Fatma. I know her.
Now I just got to know.
I know her.
Thank you, Fatma. Thank you, Fatma.
She can do more and more.
Amazing.
Yeah, she can do more.
But Atman, the issue that is coming up is this whole two-party issue. Neutrality we've discussed, neutrality aspect, and there is a whole discussion that I've had on symposium on neutrality and mediation. But the two-party aspect is something that we have to get over. Or you have to tell me, what are these two parties that you talk about? Because definitely they're money more than that. So how do you look at that? If you want to. The question can be translated to you now in Arabic. We have a fast translation.
Yes, Fatma, you can translate.
اكيد طبعا بكل سعاده. هو بيسالك بيقول لك هو معاك طبعا ان مفيش صعب قوي يكون في حيده في المناقشه، وفي رايك ايه هي الاطراف اللي المفروض تبقى داخله في الموضوع دوت، لان هو مش طرفين بس، فانت شايف ايه الاطراف المفروض تبقى متواجده في الحوار؟
من هم الاطراف الذين سيتدخلون؟
خليني برضه اتاكد منه ان هو السؤال مظبوط. Vikram, just to make sure that I also understood your question, so Atman is paraphrasing and saying you want to see what are you want to hear his point of view in relation to the parties that should be involved. Yeah, okay.
Because he said two parties. I'm just trying to say that we have to break this up.
هو بيقول علشان انت كنت بتقول طرفين، فاحنا محتاجين نفكر ان هم اكتر من طرفين، فانت هيبقى رايك ايه اكتر كده؟
صحيح هناك اطراف متعدده، ولكن هناك طرفين اساسيين. هناك طرفين اساسيين هما الشعبين، يعني الحكومتين ولا الدولتين، ولكن هناك أطراف أخرى متعددة متدخلة، ومنها من لا يريد الوصول إلى حل. هناك من يستفيد من الأزمة، هناك من يعيش على دماء الأبرياء، يعني أن لا ننتظر سهولة حل مثل هذه المشاكل، لأن هناك من يعيش على ظهر الأزمات، والمستغلين يعني الشركات المتعددة الجنسيات والتي تعمل في مجال الأسلحة وفي مجال يعني الصناعة الحربية، يستمتعون بمثل هذه القضايا ويعيشون على دماء الآخرين يعني. ولكن الأساس هو فتح حوار مجتمعي بين الشعبين أولا عن طريق وسطاء من أجل التفاهم وتكوين لوبيات للضغط على هؤلاء السياسيين الذين لا يريدون الوصول إلى حل هذه القضايا على ما أعتقد. شكرا.
You typed it out, is it? Want to send it right away? Okay. I agree that though two principal parties, the two governments or two countries, but there are multiple intervening parties, some of which are benefiting from the crisis and live on the blood of innocent people, like multinationals in the field of arms or military production. They live on this. The basis of finding a community dialogue between the two countries and then form a lobby with politicians who don't want to solve. So basically what we're saying right now is that the arms industry definitely comes up. So how do we address that? This is, if money is the entire aspect of it and people are making money out of it, how do you get them to understand anything else other than money? How do you do that? Please, anyone, any thoughts on that, on the arms industry or anything connected to that? Roger, you haven't come in for a long time. Where this arms industry aspect of it, how do you handle that, deal with that?
Honestly, I have absolutely no idea, but I feel we're moving into an area that we don't control and that we cannot affect, to be very honest. I feel we need to keep the scope of this conversation, like Denise said a little bit earlier, to accountability. What can we do at our level to make a difference? And personally, I have no idea what I can do to make a difference in the arms industry. It means I have absolutely no idea, and I'm pretty sure I cannot do anything for that. But I'm pretty sure, based on this discussion, that I can do a lot to educate people who might make a difference. For example, I wrote a paper on the Israeli-Palestine conflict with, as I said a little bit earlier, with dates and facts, and I circulated it through my university. It means at the California State University last month, and most people had absolutely no idea what's going on. So it gave me an idea that why can't I start educating people so that at least people start knowing what's going on, because not only they don't know, but they don't have anything available to them to make decisions or to better understand the conflict, either historically or actually what's going on today. I've been living in Lebanon for the past 7 years now, and I can tell you that people are more emotional than rational over here because they feel what's going on. They have maybe relatives. There are Palestinian camps in Lebanon, and they feel with them. So even if you want to talk rational with people and showing them, they're not willing or ready at this time because of what's going on. It's purely emotional. But I feel I can make a difference in the US, for example, in starting to educate people who maybe them, grassroots, we're talking grassroots, maybe them can maybe push and put pressure on politicians who then can help make Congress or the Senate, it means make different decisions overall. So the arms race or the arms dealers, I'm not sure I can contribute to that discussion, but I think we ought to, in these circles, come together and decide what are some action items that we can actually take, each one in their own way. Maybe Fatma can do something different. Maybe Muhammad cannot because he is in a certain place. But what can Muhammad do? What can Denise do? What can I do? Come up with some action items that we can at least inch forward a little bit before our next meeting to get somewhere. Because as you said, Vikram, a little bit earlier, yeah, we talk, we come up with different things, but are these things that we're coming up with helping us move forward? In most, and I'll tell you very honestly, and many people want to do something. Many people are definitely from the heart want to do something, but all the discussions that I have attended to, there's absolutely no action item. They talk, it's good, they bring it out, they have a need to talk, but there's nothing happening. And I feel that we need to do something and not just talk, or that's why I cannot contribute to the arms idea, not at all. I'm sorry.
Don't contribute to it, first of all, if you're contributing to it in any way. But no, but I think, look, Raja, every one of us in some way, of course, you said action points and all that. We'll discuss that part. But just the fact that you're saying that if that discussion happens in communities at the grassroots level, by itself, each of us can put something out there in whatever space it could be. And that's why the Israel-Palestine mediation circle, for me, is just a way of looking at how territorial disputes, yes, but other conflicts around the world, can we create a model as to how we go forward? So this, what you are suggesting, are things which we'll put together and take that as a model for other such issues which will come up. But this one particular topic, by one aspect of Israel-Palestine aspect of it, will also be created at every community level. Also, I want that little conversation to happen, because a lot of these things are discussed at every point in every part of the world, because everyone is, like I said, connected. But do they have the larger picture? So first, what you're doing is, the idea was to paint the larger picture first. And it's not that we have to do it. It's not that we all have all the information or that needs to go into that painting. But at least, can we bring the right people? So I'm going back to where I started. It's going to happen that way, that what you can do is that send me those links. I'll create that one document where all the various aspects that you have listened to or your thoughts have come in through if you put it out there in an article or something, or someone else that you've read, let's put that all together first, because there is too much out there which is going around, and it just leads to maybe too much in going into people's mind, and then nothing happens after that. So let's just put, that's one action point. Is that an action point, Roger? Can that come under action points?
Yeah, let's come up with some action points, maybe 2 or 3 for our next mediator circle.
This is,
And these are the issues that we want to lead with questions. We
No,
want to
that-
be
Right.
asking.
so I'm saying action point, first of all, this one, that at least the different points of view that you are listening to, and if you have links to those, can that be put down, and then we'll categorize it into various, whatever it might be. This view, there'll be a full traditional, conservative, Jewish person's view. And then there will be another Jewish person's perspective. There will be Muhammad's perspective living in East Jerusalem and what he's going through. Then there will be someone else living in another part of West Bank. Is there someone else, Muhammad? Can we bring in other people there also? So there'll be a lot of points of view. It's not just one particular thing. So people or links or whatever, let's put it out. And then maybe next time we don't have to go live. Maybe don't. Maybe we can just go through all that is material that's available, and everyone can have their thought on, so no, this doesn't seem accurate, what I've written. There's someone else who has some other point of view. Let's collect that. Let's just one large collection of whatever is out there. Is that possible? Yes, Roger, what do you think?
Yeah, it means that's definitely a start.
Yeah, let's do that.
Can
And
we
then
just, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Denise.
Can we hone on that a little bit, just so we have some momentum moving forward? Like, if we think about like actionable items, like what would that sound like? Like a region without violence, coexisting, religious fundamental beliefs. Like, what would that look like if we were to make 2 or 3 actionable items?
first thing, what I want to do right now is this. I made a little, there's a WhatsApp group only I am part of, but I started putting links to that. Let me just share just what that looks like right now and how many links have already gone out there. So let's just look at that. Okay. This is the way. Okay. So this is what you people were just talking about, list of the UN resolutions. Then, of course, the history of each of those resolutions. This is someone talking about, okay, each of them. I'm not getting into each of these, but I'm saying there's so many such thoughts of, why I'm putting it out there is that there are so many different points of view out there. Let's get all of it out there. So, I mean, all these links itself, there'll be so many. I don't know whether you people will find time to go through each of them. So there is lots. What I'm trying to put out there is lots that we need to put together. So of course, you for Gabor Mate, that and there's lots of his videos also out there.
I mean, these seem like a lot, these are opinions, and it's like for mediators, but as mediators, our role is to unite for commonality.
That
So
I
how
think
can we set
that's
up?
stage 2. Then is that stage 2. Uniting happens when you bring people out there, because we can't
Right.
get all these people with all these thoughts right now, because obviously to invite all of them here, and we'll do it, send it out like we just said, that Ramsey said, just send out an email to each of those people if they want to participate in the conversation. Very nice. But if they can't, their thought is out there. It's that they're not participating directly here, but they put their thought out. So someone else can put their thought in relation to that. And because I can't, a lot of them I won't be able to play out. I think LinkedIn ones I can put out there. I mean, we can always play those, because there should be no copyright issue there. But YouTube I can't. YouTube I can't play on my YouTube thing. So we can play them out. Someone else has some thought on that aspect of it, agrees, disagrees, for whatever reason, they can put it out there. It's going to be look, these are conversations which will take time to bring everyone together. But I'm taking you through this only because each of you have also been looking at different social media posts. So just put it together in a space, and it's a copy paste situation. We'll copy and paste it on a document. So we'll have lots of these thought processes there. So there is lots. I mean, I can go on and on. This is nothing.
How can we frame the next circle so that we're thinking about moving forward. And let's hope that we have, we have 8 people, next time we have 20. How can we set the stage so that those participants know what the expectation is for our next circle?
So I feel that if we can do what I just said, that we can put all these different points of view and categorizing it, that this is the point of view. When we post it, we'll put out these various lists that these are things which have come out. If you want to add something in terms of a point of view, and I'll put the links also. I mean, each of those links, we'll just categorize it and put the links that this is what has been discussed on this. You have a counter point of view, you can come and make that. So that part of it you can come and have when we have that gathering. But otherwise, if there's more material you want to put in, I want to get all that together first, because there is so much, and then getting the people together. But Mohammed, yes, what you're saying, Mohammed, you're saying something, Mohammed?
No, I just want to say that I have to leave because I will be a speaker in another webinar at 7.
That's
so
okay.
I have
That's after 35 minutes, Mohammed. That's after 35 minutes. That's it.
to read the questions that they sent to me.
You don't need to read it. You answer. No, because I also want to come there. I also want to come and see that.
But to be honest, it's I always learn when I attended your circles, Vikram.
Okay.
It's
now learning
a good opportunity to meet Roger today, and Dennis and Othman. I know before Fatma and Ramzi. So I'll be with you always.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that all this, that you've been part of conversations and you like to meet everyone, all that has happened. Roger is not happy with that, and Dennis is also not so happy with it. We want to take it further. So after you attend whatever that particular event that you're going for, but beyond that, we have to it is on now action time. So all these conversations, lots of it, yeah, you've been part of, and you're going to be part of lots more. Now you're the face of the Palestinians in terms of the Palestinian mediator out there, because we're not finding any other also. So that you are the face of, but now it's action point. So please, if you can send a list out as to what you feel are the action points that need to be put out, then please do it.
You know, Vikram, it's the big questions, the question that we met in a Zoom meeting before. You remember that, and start talking and raising questions. I did that with Fatma, and we continue asking questions and what can we do. And to be honest, I need somebody to say from where can we start. I can't find other way than talk more, asking questions instead of giving answers. Yani, it's a matter of asking more than answering, listen more than talk. Yani, I'm trying my best to ask and listen. Maybe we can find a way. So continue this dialogue, this talk is important because it can help us to find the way.
But
and to be honest, if I know the way, I will not wait anybody to come with me. I will start.
No, but
I will do it.
Mohammed, I tell you what the thing is, that we need what is happening in terms of the thought process at the grassroots level. We say grassroots, basically communities. Can you bring in people who are not mediators, but people living in your community? Can we bring them?
I don't think, Vikram, that Palestinians and Israelis are talking to each other these days.
No, but let's get people who at the grassroots level. Let's get them. Let's get them into the conversation. Now we have to go beyond the mediators. Mediators, yes, we are nice. We like to have conversations, but beyond that, what are people talking about? What they're thinking? Wherever it there, look, I'm not putting it only on you, Mohammed. For all of us, anyone that you know who actually would want to participate, and it's not that we have to bring mediators together. The idea is that let's have people coming in with their thoughts, and then you'll realize that there are aspects that people are not aware of. So what are the things that people are not aware of? Putting that out. And so, but now you go, you have to go attend that. We'll talk to you.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Someone said.
Vikram, unfortunately, I have to go as well.
Yeah.
But I sent you my email address. Since we cannot chat with everybody, I cannot send it to everyone.
I'll just change that setting. That setting,
Okay.
I'll tell you why it's put out there. Is there because I want
Okay.
all of you to speak. What happens is that people have these side chats and that conversation doesn't come out in the front. I want this idea is to put it out to people. So
Okay.
you can put it there. You can put your email address for everyone to see.
I'll put it. First of all, thank you so much for hosting this circle. And two things. You said to send you the links. To send them where? I'm not sure where to send them.
Look, two options. One is you can obviously. I'm sure you have my contact details. I'm sure. Are you connected with me on any of the social media anywhere?
No.
So
I was invited by Denise. I don't know how she found me, where she found me from.
Denise, how did you find Roger? We are more interested in that. How did you find Roger?
You are connected to one of my friends on LinkedIn through Peace Initiative. And
okay.
I saw that you were in Lebanon, and I just thought, wow, it would be so wonderful if you could join us today.
Okay. That's how. Okay.
So what you're going to do, Roger, is that one, there is a form that I'd put out for the Israel-Palestine Mediation Circle. People are interested. So actually, if you go to the website, you can click on that particular circle. It'll open the form. I'll also put the link here so that you can fill your details, and I'll create that document. I mean, look, don't put too much work on me. I have so many circles to launch, so many events that I have to do. So don't put anything on me. It's the best. So please, out of you people, just take that initiative to create the document. Fatma, are you going to take that initiative to put a document together of the various points of view and that point of view and what links we have? Would you get time for that?
I can do the structure of the document, no problem, and I can. But how do we have a group where I can share that link? But to be honest, I have zero interest in putting anything inside the document. But I can create it.
What I was thinking was that if these links come out,
I can create it right now, actually, as we're speaking. No problem.
I was putting through a Google document, but
yeah,
in the different points of view, what all are available. So what I can do is, I mean, I can just in general, if we create a Google document, in general, I can put all the links there that I come across, everyone has come across. We'll just share those links first. That's one way of going about it. That can be done.
Okay. I'm creating it as we speak, no problem.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you for coming, Roger. It was so great to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Soon. Bye-bye.
Roger, just give me 1 second, Roger. I'm just putting that link to that form in the chat so that you can at least 1 second fill the details so that then we can. But do you want to? Fatma, you want to create a separate group or something? Group on what? On WhatsApp? There is a
no, I don't know how are we going to circulate because Roger is leaving soon. Muhammad left already. How am I? I mean, I'm creating the document as we're speaking now.
Yeah.
But how am I circulating?
No, I've asked everyone to fill the details. I've sent the link to that form, Roger. Please fill that. And Ramsey, have you filled that? Please fill that form so that the email addresses. I've asked for WhatsApp numbers. If you don't want to give it, you don't have to. I'll put it out in.
So Vikram, if you mean the form for joining the Israel-Palestinian Circle, that's how I got here today.
Yeah, you fill that form.
Yeah.
So only thing is that just look out for the spam mail because it goes out as BCC to everyone, so it can go into spam. But I'll definitely share it through email. If the WhatsApp is given, then I'll put it on WhatsApp also. Yeah. So thank you, Roger, for coming in.
Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye-bye.
Roger, 1 second. I wanted just to be clear. I looked up on LinkedIn because I had to remember Renata Valerie is our common link.
Oh, I was talking to her this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
But Denise, why isn't Renata there? Why hasn't Renata joined us?
I'm not sure she's interested in this conflict.
Okay, so
she's got other big fish to fry.
Oh, yeah. So, but this is a good thing, Denise. Sending out information to everyone else who could be interested. Let's bring them in.
Absolutely, I'm working on it. I'm surprised that a couple of my other contacts didn't join today, but I'm not going to give up.
No, the end of the year kind of situation, because even the person who had suggested it was Heidi, and then she had to go for a funeral. So I think this is busy time. So we'll next year when we have it, I think there will be more people who'll come in.
Yeah, I think it may be the timing. I have a contact who's the spokesperson for the Embassy of Saudi Arabia. I've been on his tail to join. He said that he would join, but maybe the next time.
Yeah,
so let's get these folks joining, and the more the merrier.
Or what you can also do is that ask them if you can't join in, just maybe record a little video of what your thoughts are. Put it out there. Let's put all the thoughts out there. I mean,
yeah,
important, because everyone is not getting hurt, because those things are only some people really can manipulate media also. They can do that also. So let's get everything there. So that's the idea. And I'll on that the document Fatma creates, I'll copy all the links that I have and I'll paste it there. And please, if you have time, just go through it, whatever you think on each of them. If you want to put a comment on it, something like that, Fatma, we can do that. That people can just put a comment if they want.
Yes, I'm thinking of the structure actually of the document, because it's interesting. How do you want? I mean, that's a discussion on its own. So how do you want to put the links? Do you want to put United Nations resolutions? Do you want to put history, but from which perspective? I think also there should be an agreement on how to structure the.
No, from the history perspective, every aspect of what people are putting out there, we'll put there, and it can go back as many. You can go thousands of years. It can go hundreds or tens, whatever. That's not a problem.
Because I mean, if you can I share my screen?
Please.
Oh, perfect. So okay. Okay, hold on for a sec. No. I'm sorry. I don't. I have some, as much as I can be tech savvy, but sometimes things.
But Denise, your email ID is on that form. Huh? You filled that form.
Sorry, say again.
Denise, no, I was just asking Denise. So she's put her email ID here also, please, for everyone. But Denise, you fill that form. Your email ID is there. So okay.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. Can you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So I just put a small introduction here, so that the purpose is. I want everybody to I think this is the discussion we're having, that everybody is entitled to put whatever their version of the fact is or the conflict is, as long as they can back it up by an authority. So then I'm trying to make a table, and I'm not sure where the tables are now on the Google document format. So that's because I love tables, but I'm happy not to have a table.
Insert, yeah.
Yeah, here is it.
But you also have to put out there that please bring in people who want to, who have their own personal experiences to share. That'll be the best. That's the ideal, that your personal experiences. Then, of course, if you have some material that you want to give links to, but that, of course, we can always get other viewpoints, because everything should be out there, because anyway, people are reading all this.
Okay, then I'll take the link and I put it here. If you can read what I'm writing real time, that would be good, so that you can comment. Yeah.
That particular link that I put out, they can fill that form. So that.
Okay, let me see what I can get.
Can we set the stage a little bit, saying in our next dialogue, we hope to discuss, or we hope to move forward with, and give it a little context? Just so we can look back at it and say, oh yes, this is what we were hoping to do today. Let's make sure we get that at least.
Okay. What I'll do is the short one, I'll send it separately to you, because it'll be on the email that I sent you, Fatma. Am I connected to you? We are connected on LinkedIn, so I'll send it to you on LinkedIn. The link to the form. Yeah,
Thank you for
no, not at all. I mean, I kind of a little bit impatient. This is why I like to make things on the spot.
We need that. It's exactly what we need. So that's what seems to be missing. The action point doesn't get out there, and then it goes to another meeting sometime. We do that meeting again, and then it just goes on in a loop. So this makes total sense to put it out there. And then every one of you, like what Denise said, just send it out to people who could be interested, and let's just get people in. But at the same time, also at the local level, please have that conversation to get that little circles in communities on the topic also. I'm sending it on LinkedIn message.
Yeah, very good. I'll open LinkedIn, but if we can all read what is being typed.
Yeah, once I'm there, but I missed.
And the next meeting is scheduled when?
Please tell me. Sometime in January. Sometime January, which is 1 sec. Friday is a good day. 19th of January.
See if I can.
Is Friday a good day or is Saturday a better day for you people?
For the Arab region, generally avoid Fridays. So
Okay.
I'd say maybe in the weekend. Yeah.
Friday is not a good day?
Yeah, the weekend. I mean, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is not a good day because Thursday is it's like Friday night, you know. But I'm because I freelance. I don't have a time. I have my weekend on Monday. I mean, I have my own time anyway.
So we have 16th of January.
Yeah, very good.
16th, okay?
Yep.
I just make a suggestion. Maybe in the next meeting, we'll start by discussing the facts presented in the document, and we'll end with some kind of a commonality, and that we'll keep on moving forward with that, you know, fact finding, and then coming to having the group agree on something. Let's
Okay,
make
how
that.
about? Yeah, I'm sorry, Denise. How about actually in finding the commonality, because our value added is being mediators. So how about we actually do a bit of mediation as we're presenting the facts? Ideally, there would be someone who has, I mean, in the next meeting, someone who is pro A and another one who's pro B, and maybe we can mediate the points of view, even if we don't find an agreement, but we act as mediators, because I think this is what people would be looking for from.
Yes.
Exactly.
I love that. And we just role play. I mean, we could take on any person, just to role play, just to have the dialogue.
But I'll tell you what we do, Denise, is we'll also use artificial intelligence for the role play. Let's get that, because it has access to obviously so much more in terms of all these thoughts are already out there. So let's bring that artificial intelligence in also. I mean, we can try ChatGPT or Google Bard. These two are there. If there's any other platform you people suggest, we'll put it out there on that. So if there's anything that whatever you were talking about, we'll put it there and let's see what comes out from there.
Okay, I think a blend of all, because there's something also powerful in the flawed nature of the human dialogue, and we won't get that if we use the artificial intelligence.
I'm still hopeful that some good things will come out of that. Because
yeah, I think a combination of both.
At least the direction. Look, finally, I keep saying that artificial intelligence is greater than natural stupidity. So at least that you get there. But beyond that, it is going to come to a human who can actually see what that output is. And then based on that, we'll go forward. So please try that out, Dennis, at home. Yeah. Whenever you can, see whatever you're saying, how does artificial intelligence react to it? What thoughts we get from there? Because maybe we might get more than what we have collected otherwise.
Yeah,
so let's
great tool. A wonderful tool to bring in.
Okay, let's put a question out to it right now. Yeah. What are the various points of view in relation to? Let's put it out. My first question, I should have put it out here right at the beginning. Points of view in relation to the.
Is it too much to ask of our participants to come to our circle right out of the gates with something that they feel like some piece of accountability, like here's what I might have done? Is it too great of an ask? Rather than saying, oh, I'm mad, the other person, this, and this, to say like, you know, here's what I might have done to contribute. Do you think that's fair as a starting point? Just to break barriers?
Early. I think it's a bit early or premature.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my point of view. I'm happy for different points of view, of course.
Maybe another time.
Now the difference, let's see. Let's see. Let's put it up there.
Okay, so that's now publishable on the web, hopefully, meaning no one would have to ask for my permission, because otherwise it becomes I have to admit every person who wants to contribute.
No. What you do is, the people who are actively involved here, I'll maybe send you their email IDs, and then you can
I sent you
invite
already.
them.
I sent the Google document now on the chat.
Am I authorized to add more people?
I think you should. I mean, if you can try it now as we speak, it would help.
Because this is something that only you are. I don't have any permissions given here. So the document, when you've created, in that document you'll have the share option. So if you just add me there as one second, the share option on the right side, on top, on the right, yeah, share with others. You just
top right.
So if you just add my email ID there, well, that's okay. I mean, yeah. So if you add my ID out there, then you share that document with me, and then I can add the other people who's.
Okay, that's an updated link. Yeah, so it should.
So people can, all these people can, whoever has that link can view the document. So
that let me actually. I did another one. Sorry, a third one. Everyone can actually edit in the document.
So what you can do is keep this as viewer. Keep this one as viewer. Don't make this editor. So this we can share publicly. That document can be shared. They won't be able to edit it. But but the email IDs that you write here of people, those people will be able to do more than.
But then I would have to approve everyone. You see, I mean,
no, you don't have to. No, you don't have to approve any. I'll give you the email IDs of the people who have keep coming. Like, okay, Denise is here, so we can put Denise, share it with her. People whom you know that are going to add value to it. It is not just...
Okay, so that's only by email. Let me see if I can again change the.
But Ramsey was wanting to say something. Ramsey, you also wanted to say something. Okay.
It's absolutely related to this very point, because it was not clear to me whether I would wait until I get the link to this document to which I have edit access, and I just go in and add the links I'm contributing, or I send the link to you and you would edit the document. It's not clear to me how this is going to work.
I mean, look, if you are comfortable adding it yourself, please do it. Only issue that will come up is then you'll just add it in under that topic. This is the, like, history is one heading that we've got. So under history, just put it there. Put that link under history, and then if it is about the United Nations, then put it under that. If it is about anything else, what in terms of, say, the Jewish perspective of various kinds, or the Orthodox, or this, that, all that. So if just the little categorization will help. So that at least you know that on this particular topic. So yes, Fatma, so we'll just create that into topic wise as we go along. People can add the topic also.
Let's. I mean, if we want,
do you think we should make a spreadsheet instead of a document? Doing a spreadsheet.
We can, but that's a discussion on its own, to be honest. I mean, because
we'll have that discussion.
And it's important. No, because the structure is what's going to make it usable afterwards. Because then you want to filter.
So let's first get the various headings in place, and then we can have a discussion on that. What do you think? I mean, does a spreadsheet is easier to access? Adding topics is easier to search. Is anything easier there?
The spreadsheet is definitely easiest, but I'm not sure if everybody's comfortable with spreadsheets. Usually people are more comfortable with Word, but if you want something that is long-term there, we have to have either different tabs. I mean, this is where the structure helps. You know what I mean? This is how,
because finally we want to see, not today, but even after, if we say 6 months or 1 year later, so we should have access, easy kind of a thing to look at every thing, so you can have cross links available. So like you said, different tabs can have the different thoughts, and then maybe we can also put, the people who have put that out, we can put their links also there, so that.
How about we do the following? We use the Google document as is and not open it to the public yet, as of yet. I mean, like only the people you want to invite, just strictly invitation basis. And the next discussion, rather than discuss the facts, I would say let's spend some time. I'm happy. I mean, I think I can do that. I'm good with organizing like categories and like how to extract documents. So I think I can help with that. But since I am not into the history of the conflict, and I don't want, I don't want to get involved in that. So that I can, once I get a big bunch of the data, I can see how best we can structure it and then move forward and make it public for the others to actually input the data. Because if we get a huge load, no one will sort that out.
Yeah.
So is that an okay approach?
Yeah. Your approach is the best approach. So we'll put now it's just a matter of putting it across to you. So that's what we have to do.
So what I've just done on the last link, Vikram, I clicked on request edit access. So I imagine that Fatma would get an email from Google from me.
Yes,
to allow me
we have to leave it. Yeah, whether Fatma wants to give you access, we have to. That is what we have to see. But how it has to work, because if everyone is, what do you think, Fatma? Is it better that everyone adds it or sends that information and then we all send it to you and put it there? How do you want to do it? Because
yeah, that's a good point. I think let's experiment with people putting it in, and because if it's only us, I don't think it's going to be too much.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as sorry.
The best part about Google Docs is at least you can see who's added what. So anyway, we'll get
right.
to know. Yeah.
And I would say, please, I mean, I'm trying to give you actually authorization, Ramzi. I think, yeah, done. Now you got it.
I'll check now.
And I would say, please put a tag. Please put a tag or a title here, please.
This is huge progress. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're not just a circle, but we're actually coiling up. We're spiraling up.
That's what, like I said, always said that everything that I do is a work in progress. So this is one thing that we've put in place, which, like I said, it can become a model as to how we work together on various of these kinds of conflicts, because there are lots of them out there. So we just now today learning how to put structure things.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
And it takes time.
Yeah, and I think once you get the way that you have to work forward, you've got that in place, a lot of productivity can come in.
And we need somebody awesome to step up and like Fatma and volunteer and do this awesome thing.
Oh, thank you. I mean, this is probably the extent to which I can volunteer in this circle. So
no, you can. You also.
I'm happy to do that.
No, this translation thing that you did was amazing. How you managed to do that?
It was very impressive. Very impressive. Fatma,
oh, thank you. That's the impatience as well. That's the impatient in me.
Fatma, which email address did you get the edit request from? And did you give me edit request or just view?
Yeah, I did. But tell me if it didn't work.
Correct. Which email address was showing?
I'm checking on the phone. It's easier.
I've also sent you that editing access. Fatma.
Okay.
Denise, have you sent it to her?
ramzitawfiq@gmail.com.
Exactly.
I can only send emails. I can only chat with you, Vikram, but I put my email in your.
You can chat with everyone.
No, I can't do that. I can only chat with. I don't have that option to chat with everyone.
No, I changed the setting. You can.
I only have Vikram. Host and
no, if you click it now, click on my name there, and you can go to everyone now. Earlier,
which one? Host or co-host?
When it says two, when you click on that next to two, you can say everyone in meeting.
Don't have it on mine.
Yes, on the chat. You on the chat right now?
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So just click on the document and ask Fatma for the access. Fatma, have you received my access request?
Yes. And now it's actually you and Ramzi, both of you have it now. I got the screen shows it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Very
okay,
good.
maybe take some time to take effect
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
But,
okay, I'll check later.
But please don't give access to anyone that I don't ask you to do it, because
very good.
Only the people who come into that circle and give the information, then we'll also need to sift through those people also. Whom do we want as to give access to? Yeah, so here we have that.
Now I have it.
Mohammed, get Mohammed in, and whoever else was there. So, and then is the Roger. Do we have Roger's? You can send him a link if you want to.
You know what? I think I can share with him the document. Easy to.
Roger?
Yeah, I think so. Let me try to do it.
You've got his email address.
Yeah.
So what we do is now these are the people who have access to it, but the link we'll send it out later once we put it together. That link for people to view it can always be sent, so that then they can actually add, if they want to add something to it, they can send it to us. We can add that.
I have
Something
a
that
9. I'm just gonna have to say goodbye. Salam. Looking forward to continuing this. I'm feeling so optimistic and encouraged from today's circle. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
See you, Denise, and please add more people as you go along.
Well,
Good to meet you, Denise.
You've
meet
got the
everyone.
next date. You've got the next date.
Yes. I'll be following.
What is that? 16th of January, same time, 8:30 India time.
Great.
Okay.
I'll
See
be
you.
there.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Be in touch. Thank you.
And I just started saying, Vikram, one thing I might put in are any articles of merit which are proposing a resolution to the current situation, but that means also that the authors of those articles could be useful participants in our circle.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
That's what,
so it's material and the authors could be participants.
Yeah. So once we've gone through the material and we see, yes, this seems to be someone that we should have, let's
Yeah.
send out an invite.
Exactly.
Once it responds, doesn't respond, at least we've got the thought there, but then they can add to that. So that's how we can keep adding people.
We agree. It's really a privilege to be with you today. Thank you so much for including me.
Thank you.
And I
Dr.
look
very
forward to
much.
next time. Thank
See
you.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Fatma.
Bye. Thank you, Fatma. Thanks a
Thank you.
lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Very nice meeting all
we're
of you.
getting somewhere because of you. Okay.
Oh, no, not at all. Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.